listen to me. I got a great idea. Now, you're a heavy sleeper, right? Why don't we just switch apartments?
Or I could sleep in the park. You could knock these walls down, make it an 8-room luxury suite.
Jerry, these are load-bearing walls. They're not going to come down.
Yeah, that's no good.
Hello and welcome to Home Inspector M.D. Well, despite Kramer's claims, load-bearing walls can't come down as long as it's structurally modified correctly. One of the most common questions homeowners have is, can I bring down this wall because I want an open concept look? And this leads to the next question of whether that wall is a load-bearing or partition wall, and how to tell the difference, because you just can't start tearing down load-bearing walls. Why is it important to not tear down walls by yourself? When you remove parts of a wall, you are removing the studs and support structures. You change the load structure from evenly spaced to a concentrated load. That means certain parts of the wall structure now must be altered to handle the change in load distribution. If it is not, the structure of the house will most likely fail. Before we even start with this discussion, it must be stated that most home inspectors are not and do not claim to be structural engineers. We provide general information on systems, and that is what is going to be presented here. This information can help you provide an initial determination, but not a final one. There are various ways to determine load-bearing walls, but we want to keep this video as simple as possible for the new homeowner. First of all, what you don't want to do is knock on the wall, because a load-bearing wall does not mean it's a solid wall. A load-bearing wall and a partition wall are built almost the same. You have studs 16 inches apart, a sole plate, and a top plate. All are covered in drywall today, so knocking on a wall is going to sound the same if it's load-bearing or partition. Now, there could be slight differences in that you need a header for any openings in a load-bearing wall, but you do not need one in a partition wall. So how do you know whether a wall is load-bearing or not? To help us, let's take a look at this diagram of a typical house. A simple partition wall has no structure below it to support it or above it. Its purpose is a simple divider of space. Now, let's take a look at barren walls. We see structural elements all the way from the top of the house to the basement to the foundation and footings. So what makes the wall on the main floor a load-bearing wall? Well, that wall would have to have a load above it in the form of the second floor wall. Plus, that wall needs some sort of structural elements below it to support its combined weight. In this case, we have a column, but it could also be another wall in the basement. The column in the basement transfers the weight from the walls above to the footings. Simply put, load-bearing walls support a load above it, while non-load-bearing walls do not. So that's the key. We find evidence of any supported structure above and below the wall. We want to know if it's load-bearing or not. Ideally, the load-bearing wall should have support directly above and below, but this is not always the case. You could have an offset bearing wall. This means the bearing wall is not supported directly above and below. Most areas do allow some offset up to 2 feet, but ideally you want them as close as possible. The greater the distance, the greater the chance it could cause floor unevenness and lower structural integrity. The next step is to consult a proper engineer and contractor to remove the wall safely. Removing load-bearing walls without adding proper support structures will lead to the loss of structural integrity of the house. And even if you think it's just a partition wall, you still should contact proper professionals for advice. Never just tear down walls by yourself. Good day from Home Inspector M.D. Please subscribe or give us a thumbs up, and don't forget about us on your next home inspection.